yes, we are doing Dance Gavin, Dance Gavin, Dance Gavin, Dance Gavin, Dance Gavin, fucking rocker. Artificial Selection. Now, I will admit, I'm not too familiar with this band, but I did listen to Mothership, and I really enjoyed some of the choruses there, especially in the first half. But I'm gonna say it straight from the get-go here, though. My first reflex and impulse with Bloody Tillman singing on this fucking record is to fucking chop my ears off. There's really something so emasculating, gaudy, and cheesy about it that puts a hold on the appeal of Gavin Dance's music, at least before I can compartmentalize it like I do some metal vocalists. I will give the vocals credit for one thing, and that is the slightly dusty and husky inflection underbellying Bloody Tillman's shrill tone, which I do enjoy, and it does add at least an edge, and I think that was due to him having a cold at the time, which is pretty good shout, you know, just chuck him in with some fucking whooping coughers next and then see how he goes on the next record, mate. Fuck yes, boys. And look, these vocals are better than a long list of pop-punk counterparts that I could want to burn alive, and thankfully, they did grow on me a little for just how nice some of the melodies are, much like Mothership. But John Mess's screams here, they're so frustrating for how Avarian and bird-like they sound without any resonating fucking inflection or originality to make them anything more than generic. I'm exaggerating a little, they aren't actually that bad. In fact, in the grand scheme of this subgenre, they're passable, and there are a few highlights with them, being his performances on Bloodsucker and The Rattler, which I really fucking love for just how desperate and fucking angry he sounds. In The Rattler here, the bass work and the barbed punk guitar tones hold up the verses here with so much grit and energy. Even the drummer's rotating fills here are fucking good shit city, boys. Good shit city. It's weird though, because those are the only examples where the screams don't feel out of place, and normally I'm a fan of contrast, especially in overlaying, but here, no, the effeminate, fucking slightly husky delivery of Tillman's cleans when matched with those eagle shrieks just don't make any sense, really. And crucially, this being the main point here, boys, the instrumentation doesn't merit the use of these screams at all, typically being this brighter fucking plastic fucking math rock exterior, which sounds good nonetheless in of itself, but there's no abrasion here, there's no grit, it's gummed like a fucking old man's, well, fucking gums, right? And infuriatingly so. I mean, I just don't understand this from a compositional standpoint. What the fuck? It gets to a point with the instrumentation and songwriting where the immaculate fucking polished exterior and execution mars the emotional and visceral content of this record. For example, why do all of the guitar tones have to be so bright and crisp? Where the fuck is the feedback, mud, grime, and distortion? Why not utilize some harder, groovier breakdowns? Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not, boys? It sounds like the fucking interior of a Walmart. I mean, I want some personality here, and to be fair, there are a couple examples to choose from, Slouch being one, admittedly having some coarser, rasping, and scratchy guitar leads with a few lines, and the chorus is also very catchy. Count Basie also features one of the best instrumentals on the album, and it's all about that squelched sort of Kanye fucking gorgeous-esque guitar tone. Mind you, even this song here peters out and then ruins itself with this piles of da-da-da-das, right? What the fuck is that? I mean, again, what the fuck is he doing overlaying the ohs with those screams right at the back end of Story of My Bros? I mean, at this point, they have to be ironic. It does not make any sense for that to make sense, because it doesn't fucking make sense. Other highlights here include the alternating rhythm of the double kicks on the opener, which I absolutely love, even though they aren't produced to be thicker or harder in bearing. And yeah, speaking of being ironic, I'm pretty convinced that a lot of the lyrics here are purposefully juvenile or petty just for the sake of it, especially in how stilted the delivery is and how it matches the tempo here sometimes. Gospel Burnout does stand out for that quality, unfortunately, with a couple lines here just sticking out like fucking banana cakes on top of a dead llama. I mean, as well as Story of My Bros, you can love me, you can hate me, but don't try to break me. I mean, pretty much all of Story of My Bros is cringe city over here. I mean, look at this lyric over here. It's ironic. It's a joke. Care as well sounds ridiculously plasticky at times, despite the real emotion feeding the fucking track, and the chorus is just terrible. I just don't understand the appeal at all. And every time he repeats, "God damn," I bloody well just want to goddamn burn my headphones. Goddamn, 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 it's an obsession. Goddamn, I never wanted to be treated like a psycho. I feel like I'm stuck listening to the stream of consciousness of a heartbroken 18-year-old, and I guess that's also the point, especially given the fan base, but I really don't know. It doesn't make this jar any less. Obviously, for most of the record, though, the melodies are worked in really well, and the songwriting itself is consistently good, especially the bass work and the guitar work and the drums. It's very professional. I do actually enjoy the instrumentation a lot. Actually, for most of the record, I do enjoy the melodies, though. They are worked in well, and the songwriting itself is consistent in what it sets out to do. None more so than Suspended in This Disaster, whose swelling and energy maintained in the chorus is matched in part by a convincing refrain, and it's just an absolute highlight where every aspect of the instrumentation culminates into something meaningful and emotional. Suspended in this disaster! But my main problem with this record is the length, and more so how the variability in quality is further divided between 14 songs, each with a different chorus and a differing amount of success. If they instead wrote all of these songs, then chose the best 10 out of all of them with the most convincing choruses and refrains, and then fleshed them out instrumentally, which they are more than capable of doing, of course, then yes, boys, I would like this a fuck ton more. But the song structures here are noticeably controlled by what Tillman can express melodically and vocally, making the music feel hemmed in more ways than one. I think it's clear at this point that I would just much prefer a different vocalist with more versatility and bite and grit. It would give them much more of a license to depart from the glossy, plasticky exterior of this record. And I know the record is literally called Artificial Selection, but that doesn't make an artificial selection here good. It's annoying because I really do like diving my ears into some of the more interesting instrumentals on here, but some part of me always holds back from loving them for the reasons already stated. And here's the thing, the only other record I did hear from the Mothership, right, I really did enjoy it a lot more because I think the songwriting, especially the harmonies and the choruses, gave it this sort of infectious energy that is not replicated here at all. At least the plastic does suit Tillman, but again, that's not necessarily a good thing because I don't like my vocalists to sound plasticky and glossy and shit. So, dunno boys, I just don't know. Obviously I'm quite hushed to this record, and that's because I've listened to it fucking 6 times now, and it's only gotten worse every single time I listen to it, so I just don't understand. There you go. Hope you enjoyed my review for what it is, but fucking listen, thank you scientists and fucking the Wonder Years, all that kind of shit. It's not my music. It's just not. I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. Alright, I'll catch you later, mate. Just have a good one. Woo! Oh yeah, so, I did forget to rate it. I honestly don't know what to give it. I really do love songs like Suspended in This Disaster. I really fucking love that song. And there's a couple more I really do love, but everything else not so much. So, fucking, I don't know. I'm just gonna give this a 2.4, boys. A 2.4. It's not bad. It's just really mind-bogglingly average to me. So there you go. Just have a good one, boys. Woo! Just have a good one. Woo!